MSU's master plan just took one big step closer to the end zone, building more space for student athletes to do more than just compete.
The Montana Folk Festival promises to bring good music to Butte, but it also promises to bring much needed money to local businesses.
6:31 on this Thursday. Chet Lehman, Missy O'Malley with you. We'll have those stories in a moment. Our top story this half hour, Labor Secretary Alex Acosta is rejecting calls to resign and insisting the plea deal he worked out with billionaire Jeffrey Epstein was the best he could get.
Now, this is all despite another victim coming out and saying she was assaulted by the wealthy financier back in the early 2000s when she was only 15. CBS's News' Mark Liverman reports.
He needed to go to jail.
Labor Secretary Alex Acosta says he did the right thing when it came to the controversial plea deal for convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein.
There is a value to a sure guilty plea because letting him walk, letting what the state attorney was ready to do go forward would have been absolutely awful.
Acosta says the alternative would have been state charges and Epstein may not have served any time. Instead, he received 13 months in jail, though was allowed to leave 6 days a week to go to work. But Barry Krischer, the Palm Beach County state attorney during the case, said Acosta's office had a 53-page indictment against Epstein that was abandoned after secret negotiations. This week, more women are coming forward, accusing Epstein of abusing them.
Did Jeffrey Epstein rape you?
Yeah, no, he raped me. Forcefully raped me.
Jennifer Arreos told NBC News she was 15 when she was assaulted at Epstein's Manhattan townhouse in the early 2000s. She now plans to file a civil suit against him. Acosta was asked if he owed Epstein's victims an apology.
These victims were traumatized. We can't begin to understand what they went through. And so you always look back and you say, what if?
President Trump insists Acosta has been an excellent labor secretary, and Acosta has rejected calls by Democratic leaders to resign. Mark Liverman, CBS News.
Now, on Friday, Epstein pleaded not guilty in New York to federal charges of sex trafficking to dozens of underage girls. Court document papers say an unnamed Epstein associate recruited young women to his homes in Florida and New York.
6:33 now. We're going to shift gears. Meteorologist Matt Elwell joins us. What a lovely day it was.
Yeah.
Yesterday, I got, 15, 20 raindrops at my house in the early evening.
Right.
But temperature, it's unusual. It never changed.
It really didn't. That
Usually
cloud
it cools
cover
off.
was there.
Yep.
The cloud cover was nice, though.
Yeah,
It was actually muggy, which is not something that happens in southwest Montana very often.
Should we keep recapping yesterday?
Let's move on to today. Temperatures this morning, fantastic once again, into the mid-50s. We won't have the cloud cover quite as much today to increase the mugginess. Temperatures back into the mid-80s. It looks like it is turning warmer as you head into the afternoon. There is an isolated chance of some thunder showers, mainly in the mountains, but a few of those could spill over into a couple of the valleys. We're going to break it all down for you coming up in just a few minutes.
Thank you for that, Matt. Now 6:34. 5 people were taken to the hospital in Bozeman after a single-car rollover crash on I-90 last night.
It happened just before 8 o'clock last night in the eastbound lane, mile marker 313. That's just east of Bozeman. Montana Highway Patrol says all 5 people were all in the same vehicle. 2 of them thrown from the vehicle in the crash. Traffic restricted to 1 lane. No word yet on the cause of that crash or the extent of those folks' injuries.
And the Department of Corrections has confirmed that a former employee has been charged in connection with smuggling contraband to inmates in the prison in Deer Lodge. John Campbell faces 39 felonies in connection with smuggling tobacco products to inmates for money while working as a plumber for the prison. 10 other inmates have also been charged in this case. A prison spokesperson, Amy Burton, would not comment any further on the matter while the case is still being prosecuted.
6:35 now. Yesterday, Montana State University made a big step towards its plan to revamp Bobcat Stadium.
MTN's Cody Boyer has all those details.
University leaders took this to the Montana Board of Regents, seeking approval on this expansion that would add around 40,000 square feet to this end of this field alone. Now that would change, as you would expect, this whole north end of this stadium, moving the football program from across the street over at the Brick Fieldhouse and opening up more space for athletes since 1958. The athletic director says more than football will feel this.
For the bang for the buck, it benefited every single student athlete and program that we had.
The brick field house and the Bobcat Stadium have seen thousands of students for decades, but as MSU Director of Athletics Leon Costello can vouch for, it needs to grow.
It's really the only project that we've done outside of some minor facelifts within athletics since the end zone was completed in 2010. To continue the growth that we see on campus, we need to catch up a little bit in athletics as well.
And to win the race, athletes will need to exercise their brains.
Our student athletes do very well in the classroom and they graduate at a high rate. Now with this space, we'll be able to focus on maybe on a little bit more details of their needs.
Well, the athletic director says this process is just about in the end zone. And when it's all done, this whole northern part of the field, along with other parts of the university that will be renovated, will transform, giving athletes that want to call themselves Bobcats a place to study and, well, even more than that.
We'll have a weight room in the new facility. We have a weight room still in this building. We have athletic training services in that facility. We'll have athletic training services here.
40,000 square feet and 2 stories of new space, not to mention 3,500 square feet more renovated across the street at the field house. You take the football program and move it over to the new area. Costello says that's space that is well needed. As of today, out of the $18 million price tag, $16.5 million of that has already been raised.
We've had approximately 300 individual donors to this with about 320 donations.
Costello says with help from donors, athletics can work more to get ahead, less to catch up.
As people drive onto campus, onto Kagi, they're going to see this facility, and it's going to be a great way to welcome them to our campus.
Costello says the university is hopeful they can raise the rest of the money by the end of the summer. Then they can get shovels in the dirt and turn this northern side into a full dome, starting in the fall. Once it starts, he says it will take 14 to 16 months to finish. At Montana State University, Cody Boyer, MTN News.
6:38, now shifting gears just a little bit. A water main break in downtown Bozeman yesterday shut down an intersection, temporarily shut off water to nearby buildings.
On top of that, it caused a part of the road nearby to collapse. The Bozeman Water and Sewer Operations Superintendent says this hole is responsible for closing off South 3rd Avenue and Babcock Street.
Crews were able to open one lane of traffic on Babcock last evening. The main break happened around 4 o'clock in the morning, caused another hole to open up in the street. Water superintendent says crews work quickly to restore water service to buildings nearby, and we'll let everyone know once that intersection is open again.
And a lot of businesses in Butte are hoping to get a major economic boost from the Montana Folk Festival coming up this weekend.
MTN's John Amy tells us how much money the 3-day festival brings to the local economy and who benefits from it.
The Montana Folk Festival brings music to Butte and much needed money to the local economy.
I like to say it's the best thing that's ever happened to Butte since I've been here.
Bar owners and those in the hospitality business say they get a major economic boost from the 3-day music festival, which begins this week.
Feedback we get from people about what they spend. We ask people, how much money do you spend? What do you do? We have estimated it's about $8 million in the local area in Butte.
Owners of the Finland Hotel, which will house many of the performers during the festival, say this event means more jobs.
And I've hired 3 people in the last 2 weeks, so it's a big deal for Butte. We're growing. More people are staying here, and it's hard to draw a direct correlation, but we think that the continued success of the Folk Festival really has a lot to do with that.
Now, some business owners told me that they do lose customers to the Montana Folk Festival, but organizers say that this extra influx of income to the community is still good for everyone in the long run.
It's the ripple. We look at the ripple effect, which is that the people who do well then turn around and they buy furniture, they buy cars, they do other things, and they have a little more disposable income.
It pays to have a free festival. In Butte, John Amy, MTN News.
Just as a reminder, put it in your calendar. The Montana Folk Festival begins 6:30 Friday evening at the original Mine Yard, and it runs all day long, all weekend long through Sunday.
All day Saturday, all day Sunday. Wraps a little bit earlier on Sunday, if I'm not mistaken. Yep.
Early in the afternoon.
Well, I tell you, I'm going to be one of those people boosting Butte's economy this weekend because I'm so pumped for Folk
awesome.
Fest.
Such
It's
a good
always
time.
a good time. It is time for a